It was a crime no one believed.
My girlfriend, Denise, got kidnapped last night.
And you didn't call last night when this occurred?
They were falsely accused of a hoax,
Wild goose chase.
while their attacker continued to prey on the innocent. CBS News California picks up where the most-watched Netflix docuseries left off,
A real-life Gone Girl, like the movie.
going beyond the sensational story to examine lessons learned,
Started telling me.
documenting a decade-long mission
He's done this before.
to bring closure to their kidnappers' other victims.
Why does it have to be so hard?
Exclusive interrogation footage
Yes, there are other things.
and new cold case confessions.
2 weeks after our kidnapping,
Members of our community are safe.
he attacked again.
The year these survivors transformed a decade of trauma into statewide reform and justice for long-forgotten victims.
I'm sorry,
Now, waking from the nightmare, lessons learned.
and thank you.
Julie Watts reports.
What are you feeling right now?
Sick, legitimately. No, it's hard to put yourself out there in front of a firing squad, even though I don't think that they are.
A decade after their nightmare began, facing the media isn't any easier for Denise and Aaron Quinn. Some of these are the same people who took law enforcement at their word when they claimed Denise and Aaron faked a harrowing home invasion kidnapping.
Breaking news. We have just confirmed that this woman's kidnap for ransom story is all a hoax.
The public shaming was even more traumatizing and devastating for us than the kidnapping itself.
March 2015.
They did not come into your house and kidnap her and take her for ransom. That did not happen.
Intruders did drug and blindfold the couple with blacked out swim goggles, then kidnapped, raped, and held Denise for ransom while police falsely accused Aaron
She's dead.
of killing her.
Understand that I've accepted that. She's dead.
At this point, the kidnappers have already called 3 times.
But instead of tracing those calls,
Well, I would have been rescued.
investigators tried to convince Aaron to confess to killing Denise, who was very much alive, but in a living hell.
Okay, how do I make it so you look like a monster?
And when the kidnapper finally released Denise, instead of searching for him,
It is Mr. Quinn and Miss Huskins that owes this community an apology.
they accused the couple of orchestrating a hoax.
Fakes her own kidnap.
The members of our community are safe.
They
The
weren't.
real tragedy is now we know there's 2 other families that Mueller terrorized and attacked because these investigators had blinders on.
For 2 months, the couple faced death threats from the public and legal threats from law enforcement, while fearing their attacker could return. Then he struck again in nearby Dublin, California, leading investigators here to Matthew Muller's Tahoe cabin, where he held Denise captive, and where then rookie detective Misty Caruso found these blacked out swim goggles with a crucial piece of evidence confirming Denise's story.
And my heart stopped, and I was like, oh my God, like she has long blonde hair, and I have goggles with, literally it was one strand of blonde hair that I was like.
1 month later, Denise and Aaron were finally vindicated. Mueller was later sentenced to 40 years in federal prison, but the nightmare wasn't over.
At one point, he lay down on the bed next to me and then just started telling me how he...
2015 interrogation recordings revealed Denise warned investigators a decade ago that Mueller told her there were other victims.
Like you said, like they've probably done this before.
But for 10 years, they couldn't get anyone with jurisdiction to investigate those crimes.
It's terrifying to me to think of how many victims there might still be out there that are living in fear.
These are horrible, horrible crimes.
Then 2024's most watched Netflix docuseries chronicled Denise and Aaron's American nightmare. And small-town Seaside Police Chief Nick Borges reached out to them on Instagram.
Denise was first to respond back to me, and I was shocked that she would even speak to anyone in law enforcement.
What began as a conversation soon became a mission to bring closure to Mueller's other victims.
But I remember her saying, "We're not law enforcement, what do we do?" And that's kind of where I said, well, let me try to help.
But he didn't have jurisdiction.
Wrote a letter to the U.S. Attorney's Office, never heard back.
So, working with Denise, Aaron, and Misty, Borges began writing letters directly to Matthew Mueller in an Arizona prison. And Mueller wrote back.
When I got these declarations, I just couldn't believe what I was reading.
Then Borges introduced the Quinns to Vern Pearson, the district attorney in El Dorado County, where Denise was held captive.
What did it feel like for you to have these two law enforcement officials listen and believe you?
I mean, it meant the world having a chief of police and then a DA with jurisdiction to actually look into something and say, like, we see you, we hear you, we believe you, and we want to fight for you is like, why does it have to be so hard to get that?
After 10 years, their persistence finally paid off. First, Mueller confessed to additional crimes in letters. Then, he revealed key details during in-prison interviews that led investigators to more than a half dozen new victims, some still living in fear.
When we return,
Yes, there are other things.
new cold case confessions, now public for the first time, and how the difference between these two interrogations led to law enforcement changes statewide. Now, cold case confessions, first obtained by CBS News California.
I ordered them out of the town.
Confessions that brought closure to victims after decades of fear.
Went to Sensational.
Closure that could have come sooner if only law enforcement had listened.
Why does it have to be so hard?
Now, the conclusion of Waking from the Nightmare, Lessons Learned. Julie Watts reports.
One of the most striking things is finding out how young he was when he started. So age 16, attacking a couple.
November 2024. For the first time, Mueller described in chilling detail ambushing a couple at a campsite when he was still a teen.
I ordered them out of the town. I told them I had a gun. I believe I tied them both.
At the time, police didn't believe the victims. Like Denise and Aaron, they suspected the boyfriend in that case too. After more than 30 years of justice delayed, that couple is also still together.
Through Denise's and Aaron's persistence, we were able to bring justice to other victims.
Mueller also confessed to 2 home invasion attempted rapes in Santa Clara County in 2009.
The next one was in Palo Alto, where I had actual police contact.
Police questioned Mueller at the time, but said they didn't have enough evidence to charge him. Despite similarities to Denise's case 7 years later, they never reopened those cold cases or retested Mueller's DNA.
I'm sorry.
Which Santa Clara County DA Jeff Rosen acknowledges.
And thank you.
Was justice delayed.
Because you didn't give up, other victims have been saved.
When Mueller was finally sentenced to 2 life terms for those cold case crimes,
it came the week of the 10-year anniversary of our kidnapping. So it was very wow, just looking back and all that we had gone through and everything that it took to get to this place.
But the confessions didn't end there. Next, Mueller confessed to an unreported 2015 home invasion robbery in Contra Costa County just 2 weeks after he released Denise.
A real-life Gone Girl, like the movie.
While the world still believed
the members of our community are safe,
they weren't.
Tied them up, went to Sensational, woke him up.
In recorded confessions, Mueller describes how he convinced the family to stay quiet all these years, threatening his accomplices would find and harm their kids.
That's very good reason if I didn't go for it.
Contra Costa DA Dinah Becton stresses this one wasn't a cold case.
We had no knowledge that they had suffered this horrible crime.
They found the victims a decade later, still living in fear from a crime that wouldn't have even been investigated without Denise and Aaron or the rookie detective, the small town chief, and rural county DA who finally believed them.
2 weeks after our kidnapping, he attacked again.
Together, this team helped bring closure to more than a half dozen survivors. So, nearly a decade later, Aaron and Denise are back in front of the media. But this time, they have law enforcement on their side.
We are so grateful to have found a team in law enforcement who respects us, who values us as victims, and is willing to work with us and collaborate with us. We're hoping that this can be a really positive example of this is how policing can be, this is how investigations can be.
And now they're working together, helping to retrain officers using their nightmare as a case study.
I'm not going to admit to something I didn't do. Detective Musser thinks he's a human lie detector, and the training that he got makes him believe that's so.
Investigators point to Aaron's interrogation as a textbook example of old-school training methods dating back to the 1940s, developed to replace the use of physical torture.
His primary goal right now is to get a confession, because he knows confessions get convictions.
Interrogators were trained to create a high-pressure environment, often by isolating or lying to the suspect.
As for my family, they tell me they don't know where they are. My family was in the police station.
FBI polygraph expert Special Agent French lied too.
There's no question in my mind that you failed this test.
Then interrogators are taught to minimize the seriousness of the crime.
And this was an accident. I know it was an accident. I could see that she accidentally died.
And ultimately make a confession seem like the best option for the suspect.
I promise you, if you're painted that cold, ruthless killer, everything that you're trying to protect is going to be gone.
That's a choice you're going through. Am I going to look like a monster? Or if I say, oh, it was an accident, then maybe I'll get some leniency.
And I start figuring out, okay, how do I make it so you look like a monster?
Nobody who did this to them has been held accountable.
Do we discipline him for doing something that he was trained to do?
DA Vern Pearson is working to change the way investigators are trained.
I know he was trained to do that. I do agree that if somebody continues to train this antiquated, not very effective methodology, they should be held accountable.
Nationwide, nearly a third of all wrongful convictions, later exonerated by DNA, are linked to a false confession.
There is a problem, but there is also a solution.
He points to science-based interviewing techniques, which studies show can be more effective than confession-driven interrogations.
I'm going to go tell them that,
like Aaron's.
I'm not looking for alive Denise. I'm looking for dead Denise.
He has no evidence to support that conclusion. That is part of the training.
And under science-based interviewing, what would he be saying?
Instead of talking, he would have Aaron talking.
Pearson explains the goal of a science-based interview is to get detailed information instead of a confession.
Take a detailed statement and you compare that to other known facts.
He says it's how they got Mueller to lead them to half a dozen cold case victims.
Used for a task coach.
Science-based interviewers build rapport with the suspect, focus on communication instead of control.
I don't want you to say a word, okay? I need you to listen.
He'll stop my denials. He won't let me speak.
Compare Aaron's interrogation to Mueller's.
Would you like me to expand on that? No. That. Okay. So.
And science-based interviews focus on open-ended questions instead of presuming guilt.
Tell me a little bit about that relationship.
She's dead. The only other explanation here is that she wanted to be gone and you're helping her be gone.
At a law enforcement conference in South Lake Tahoe, Denise Huskins is no longer a name on a case file. She's an expert.
This was actually something quite common, too common, the disbelief of victims and survivors.
The couple, once discredited by authorities, is now helping to train them, alongside the officers who finally believe them.
She's dead.
Together, this team helped solve at least 4 cold case crimes this year. 32 years of unanswered questions and justice delayed. Cases that could have been solved sooner. Victims who could have been spared. But thanks to Denise and Aaron, they were not forgotten.
And so it means the world to be invited to come to these things, to have law enforcement care and work with us.
Together, they're writing their next chapter, using trauma to teach, turning pain into purpose, proving that when survivors are believed, cold cases don't have to stay cold.
We're back in Tahoe, not far from where this all started. What's it like for you to be in this room this close to where you were held hostage?
Yeah. Again, it's bittersweet to be able to be here and reclaim this as something positive.
Denise and Aaron Quinn are the California District Attorney's Witnesses of the Year. Not for what they endured, but for what they made possible.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. And thank you. Thank you for not giving up. Thank you for giving law enforcement a second chance.
Thank you for your persistence. Thank you for your courage.
Because without your persistence, without your courage, they would have never obtained justice.
Thank you for persevering all these years and ensuring the full accountability of Mr. Mueller.
I've always known that these two individuals, because of their perseverance, their heart, their character, their passion, that they would help change law enforcement at a national level.
It's beyond words. But what truly sets you apart is the way that you've turned your pain into power.
Your perseverance through trauma, through doubt, through every obstacle has inspired people around the world on so many different levels. From the bottom of my heart, and on behalf of every survivor who feels a little less alone, we thank you